The next example is a slightly more difficult geometric sequence. This one starts off at 243, then we have negative 81, then positive 27. The question is, what is our common ratio here? Well, if we do negative 81 over 243, if you simplify that fraction, and you can do this with your calculator, we get negative 1/3. Similarly, if we do 27 divided by minus 81, well, that is also negative 1/3. So the common ratio here is multiplying by negative 1/3. And just because this is a fraction, and just because it's negative, doesn't mean we can't use our nth term formula. Something else to note here, when this common ratio is less than 1, so when it's a number between minus 1 and 1, okay, so a proper fraction, then you'll notice that this will happen. Our terms will decrease in size. We'll go from 243 down to 81, down to 27, and they'll keep getting smaller and smaller as we go along here. Also, you'll notice that because this is a negative sign, the terms in our sequence go from being positive, negative, positive, negative. They're going to switch back and forth between those two. Well, let's do a substitution here. Tn equals a r to the n minus 1. We are looking for the 7th term in the sequence. So we have T7 equals A. A is 243 times R. The common ratio is negative 1/3. And the power here is 1 less than n, so it's going to be 6. Now, this is another situation where you're not going to be able to do this without a calculator on you. Now, when you've got a negative number that's raised to an even power, so for example, if you have a negative number squared, or to the power of 4, or to the power of 6, that's going to turn into a positive. So the result of this is going to be positive. Secondly, when we have a fraction raised to a power, we apply the power to the top and we apply it to the bottom. So I can write this as 1 to the power of 6 over 3 to the power of 6. Scroll this down a bit. Keep my 243 here. 1 to the power of 6 is still just 1. 3 to the power of 6, if you plug that into your calculator, is 729. So we have, when I multiply those together, 243 on 729. Simplifying that fraction, you end up with 1 on 3. So the 7th term in this sequence, it's going to keep going down. Eventually it's going to get to 1, and the next, negative 1. And the next term after that is going to be 1/3, the 7th term in the sequence.